Random Shark. I haven't been able to sleep in 3 days. Every time I try, I dream of him. I hear his voice. Oh God, his voice. It's driving me insane. Every time I shut my eyes, I see his wicked, toothy jaws and those beady, soulless black eyes. I don't know how much longer I can take this. How much longer I can... Sorry. I thought I heard something. Must just be the lack of sleep catching up with me, but I'll go to sleep soon enough. First, I need to get this story out of my head. I need to clear my mind. You see, this all started about a week ago. With Halloween coming up, I decided to see what kinds of things the internet, or more specifically YouTube, had to offer in the way of horror. And surprisingly, the site had tons of content in the way of hauntings. Haunted top 10s, horrifying reaction videos, spooky story times, Ouija board seances. Did you know that 1 out of every 1 YouTuber that goes looking for ghosts finds them? Quite frankly, it's mind-blowing, and a bit terrifying to think how common of a thing these hauntings are. But after searching through countless videos, I stumbled across these things called creepypastas, which, despite what you may think, aren't part of a preschool art project where you superglue googly eyes and fangs onto a piece of spaghetti. They're actually internet horror stories, making their way onto YouTube in a similar sort of fashion to audiobooks, read out by YouTubers accompanied by spooky music and sound effects. But as Mariah approached the river, from beyond the tree line she heard the rustling of leaves, followed by a menacing growl. Fuck, I'm hungry. So I began listening to a few of the pastas. Some of the classics like Jeff the Killer.
Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks.
Jeff, what are you doing?
How in the fuck did you not bleed to death? And the deeper down the rabbit hole I followed, the creepier the stories became. I heard of faceless suited giants in the forest, chain letters containing jovial canines, but the worst were the lost episodes. Episodes of children's cartoons that I'd watched as a child. Shows that I used to have such fond memories of, now sullied by the overbearing violence that the show's creators apparently wanted us all to see, but that the pure folks over there at the FCC shielded us from, marking them as not suitable for child audiences. It's hard to find out that your favorite childhood characters were drawn by packs of wild sycophants, but... Okay, that was right there! It was right there! Tell me you heard it! Tell me you... Okay. So there were these lost episodes. Things like Ed, Edd, and Eddy, where Double D seems to die at the end, or Squidward's Suicide, where Squidward dies at the end, or Doug's Lost Weekend, where Doug dies at the end. You know, come to think of it, I'm starting to notice a theme here, but there was something about the stories that gripped me, pulled me in, made me want to uncover the truth behind all my favorite childhood heroes. I worked my way through most of the popular cartoons, Tom and Jerry, Arthur, The Simpsons, when I came across a blast from my past. Jabberjaw, my favorite cartoon when I was a kid. I remember watching this show every Saturday morning for its entire 1-season run. Jabberjaw and his bandmates Biff, Shelly, Bubbles, and Clamhead would solve mysteries and fight bad guys, all while still making time to play in their band, the Neptunes. God, kids' shows had such better music back then. But according to this creepypasta, there was another episode of the show that I'd never seen. A 17th episode that was pulled off the air and got the show canceled for good. An episode described by Pasta on the Rocks as, quote, unnerving. So I listened to the short tale. Jabberjaw and his friends were playing in the band, as they often were. But the song they were playing was off. It wasn't your typical upbeat tune that would usually be played on the show. Instead, the song was much more awesome, with Biff absolutely shredding on guitar and Jabberjaw putting the hurt on that drum set. This heavy metal beat didn't mix with the cartoon shark vibe at all. But then came the lyrics. Down at the bottom of the sea, where murdering is fun for you and me. I couldn't believe it. My favorite cartoon, written by people who I thought understood that children were opposed to murder, now freely trying to pronounce to those fans about its joys. I was stunned, but it didn't end there. The band stopped playing as the grainy footage rolled. Biff, Bubbles, Clamhead, and Shelly all approached the camera, kneeling down as if to take a final bow. The film crackled and the footage became rough at this point, but through the patches of static and color lines on the screen, Pasta on the Rocks, the guy who actually saw the film, I was just listening to the story, but Pasta saw Jabberjaw pull something out from behind his drum set, an item that couldn't quite be made out through the poor video quality. Jabberjaw slowly followed his bandmates towards the camera, pulling up the item barely visible through the rapidly degenerating film, but what seemed to be a machete, and butchered the 4 members of his band. And as the static now completely consumed the video, the only sound that could be heard was Jabberjaw saying his popular catchphrase.
I don't get no respect. Jabberjaw!
Ever since that night, I haven't been able to sleep. Everywhere I go, I see a bloody Jabberjaw, and in my mind, I can hear him. Nuck, nuck, fucking nuck. I don't know what to do. I need help. I need your help. Please help me get rid of this. Oh my god. No!
I get no respect. I don't get no
I respect you, Jabberjaw. I respect you so much.
I don't get no respect. Jabberjaw!
Anyways, that's the video, guys. Like it, don't like it, let me know. I made this video because Halloween's coming up and I wanted to do something with creepypastas. Last episode, creepypastas are probably the most silly, so I figured I'd parody them. But if you don't know what creepypastas are and you like scary stuff, I would recommend looking them up because they are quite enjoyable in my opinion. Shark pride for life, bruh.